Can't see. Is that the grandfather who is coming? Oh, somebody else. Didn't you know where he has gone? He has gone outside. Maybe looking for the new pet. Always it is like that. He will buy new pet without telling me. And he will go and keep it somewhere without showing me. After all, once when I find it out, he will come with so many excuses. There is one naughty fellow also here to accompany him, to give all the aid, to give all the help for him. Anyway, do you know what happened last time? It is really funny. Now, see, not all animals can adapt themselves to the human lifestyle. We have a very humble lifestyle. Not all the animals, silly-pilly animals which he is seeing on the road, he is not supposed to bring all the things here. He will buy everything, whatever he see. He will pay the money, he will buy it immediately, bring it here, hide it somewhere, and next day problem will start. Okay, it requires a great deal of patience to train animals and to acquire some non-destructive behavior. Who to tell? Whom to tell? I don't know how I should tell him that this non-destructive behavior should be like, it is a training which we have to give. Otherwise, animals will be showing this destructive behavior. Grandfather bought Toto from a horse cart driver for the sum of 5 rupees. The Tonga driver used to keep the little red monkey tied to a feeding trough, and the monkey looked so out of place there that grandfather decided he would add the little fellow to his private zoo. Last time, he bought a small monkey. Its name is Toto. Cute to see, that's true. He went and he saw a little red monkey and he bought it from a Tonga driver, it seems. Okay, to add to his collection. What collection? To add to his collection of animals in his private zoo. He is having a private zoo here. Toto was a pretty monkey. His bright eyes sparkled with mischief beneath deep-set eyebrows, and his teeth, which were pearly white, were very often displayed in a smile that frightened the life out of elderly Anglo-Indian ladies, those ladies who belonged to both Britain and India. Monkey's hands looked as though they were pickled in sun for many years, yet his fingers were very quick and wicked. His tails, while adding to the good looks grandfather believed a tail would add to anyone's good look, also served as a third hand. He could use it to hang from a branch, and it was capable of scooping up any delicacy that might be out of reach of his hands. Toto was an attractive monkey, that's true, with sparkling eyes, and he would take special delight in scaring elderly Anglo-Indian ladies, it seems. It came to me, that monkey came to me to scare me, but I will not get scared after seeing all these things. Grandmother always fussed when grandfather brought home some new birds or animals. So it was decided that Toto's presence should be kept a secret from her until she was in particular good mood. Grandfather and I put him away in a little closet opening into my bedroom wall, where he was tied securely, so we thought, to a peg fastened into the wall. I am always averse to grandfather's collection of animals. He knew that. So he kept the news a secret, and he has hidden the Toto. Temporarily he kept him in the closet, which opens to my grandson's bedroom. A few hours later, when grandfather and I came back to release Toto, we found that the wall, which had been covered with some ornamental papers chosen by grandfather, now stood out as naked bricks and plaster. The peg in the wall had been wrenched from its socket, and my school blazer, which had been hanging there, was in shreds. I wonder what grandmother would say, but grandfather didn't worry. He seemed pleased with Toto's performance. "He's clever," said grandfather. "Given time, I'm sure he could have tied the torn pieces of your blazer into a rope and made his escape from the window." After a few hours of keeping Toto in the closet, when my grandson and my husband went there to see Toto, you want to know what happened? They were shocked. Literally shocked. Toto had torn all the wallpapers, the peg with which he has been bound, and he has wrenched off the wall. My grandson's school blazer was also there. That also this monkey has torn into pieces. But grandfather was quite happy at this animal. He was telling that the monkey would have tied the thin pieces of my grandson's blazer into a rope and would have escaped out of the window. His presence in the house still a secret, Toto was now transferred to a big cage in the servants' quarters where a number of grandfather's pets lived very sociably together. A tortoise, a pair of rabbits, a tame squirrel, and for a while my pet goat. But the monkey wouldn't allow any of his companions to sleep at night. So grandfather, who had to leave on the next day to collect his pension in Saharanpur, decided to take him along. Unfortunately, I could not accompany grandfather on that trip, but he told me about it afterwards. A big black canvas kit bag was provided for Toto. This, with some straw at the bottom, became his new abode. When the bag was closed, there was no escape. Toto could not get his hands through the opening, and the canvas was so strong for him to bite his way through. His efforts to get out only had the effect of making the bag roll about on the floor or occasionally jump into the air, an exhibition that attracted the curious crowds of on-look railway platform. Toto remained in the bag as far as Saharanpur, but while grandfather was producing his ticket at the railway station turnstile, Toto suddenly poked his head out of the bag and gave the ticket collector a wide grin. The poor man was taken aback, but with great presence of mind and much to grandfather's annoyance, he said, "Sir, you have a dog with you. You will have to pay for it accordingly." In vain did grandfather take Toto out of the bag. In vain did he try to prove that a monkey did not qualify as a dog or even as a quadruped. Toto was classified a dog by the ticket collector, and 3 rupees was the sum handed over as his fare. Then grandfather, just to get his own back, took from his pocket a pet tortoise and said, "What must I pay for this, since you charge for all animals?" The ticket collector looked closely at the tortoise, prodded it with his forefinger, and grandfather, a pleased and triumphant look, and said, "No charge, it's not a dog." After this incident, anyway, they have transferred him to the cage where other animals are also there. A tortoise, a pair of rabbits, a squirrel, and there is another pet goat. Okay, they all lived harmoniously. But this Toto, unfortunately, he would create all trouble for everyone. Then it was time for grandfather to go and collect his pension. He had to travel to Saharanpur, and he, without telling me anything what this fellow has done, he has taken Toto along with him in a canvas bag and carried him to Saharanpur. Since there was no opening in the bag, it allowed its head and face to come out. He would often jump inside the bag and make a bag look like a spirit in it, it seems. And people were all scared. My neighbor was telling me about it. As soon as the train reached Saharanpur, this Toto scared the ticket collector, it seems, by popping his head out of the bag and grinning at him. The ticket collector was annoyed at this and at the discovery. What he asserted that the grandfather would pay him 3 rupees extra fare. He considered this monkey as a dog, and he would not listen to grandfather's argument that it was not a dog. Grandfather argued and argued, "See sir, this is not a dog, it's a monkey." But anyway, the ticket collector could not identify a monkey or a dog, I guess. Anyway, he charged 3 rupees as a fare. When Toto was finally accepted by grandmother, he was given a comfortable home in the stable, where he had for a companion the family donkey, Nanna. On Toto's first night in the stable, grandfather paid him a visit to see if he was comfortable. To his surprise, he found Nanna without apparent cause, pulling at her halter and trying to keep her head as far as possible from a bundle of hay. Grandfather gave Nanna a slap across her haunches, and she jerked back, dragging Toto with her. He had fastened onto her long ears with his sharp little teeth. Toto and Nana never became friends. Then I came to know all about it and I accepted. I know that anyway, even if I am not accepting, grandfather will bring all these things and he will hide and keep in the stable, or he will hide and keep somewhere with the other animals. Why to make problem? So I just accepted. Once when I accepted, he shifted this animal to the stable where Nanna, our donkey, is living. Toto could not get along with Nanna as well. Nanna is a poor donkey, but this Toto could not adjust with Nanna also. One day he almost boiled himself when he jumped into the kettle of boiling water. That was very funny. A great treat for Toto during his cold winter evenings was a large bowl of warm water given by grandfather for his bath. He would cunningly test the temperature with his hand, then gradually step into the bath, first one foot and then the other, as he had seen me doing, until he was into the water up his neck. Once comfortable, he would take the soap in his hands or feet and rub himself all over. When the water became cold, he would get out and run as quickly as he could to the kitchen fire in order to dry himself. If anyone laughed at him during this performance, Toto's feeling would be hurt and he would refuse to go on with his bath. One day, Toto nearly succeeded in boiling himself alive. A large kitchen kettle had been kept on the fire to boil for tea, and Toto, finding himself with nothing better to do, decided to remove the lid. Finding the water just warm enough for a bath, he got in with his head sticking out from the open kettle. This was just fine for a while until the water began to boil. Toto then raised himself a little, but finding it cold outside, sat down again. He continued hopping up and down for some time until grandmother arrived. And another afternoon, he ate the entire meal, family meal, and threw the empty dishes from the tree and broke it into several pieces. Good enough. If there is a part of the brain especially devoted to mischief, that part was largely developed in Toto. He was always tearing things to pieces. Whenever one of my aunts came near him, he made every effort to get hold of a dress and tear a hole in it. One day at lunchtime, a large dish of pulao stood in the center of the dining table. We entered the room to find Toto stuffing himself with rice. Grandmother screamed and Toto threw a plate at her. One of my aunts rushed forward and received a glass of water in the face. When grandfather arrived, Toto picked up the dish of pulao and made his exit through a window. We found him in the branches of the jackfruit tree, the dish still in his arms. He remained there all afternoon, eating slowly through the rice, determined on finishing every grain. Then, in order to spite grandmother, who had screamed at him, he threw the dish down the tree and chattered with delight when it broke into 100 pieces. This monkey's mischief grew day by day, and grandfather realized that we could not keep this monkey. Obviously, Toto was not the sort of a pet we could keep for long. Even grandfather realized that we were not well-to-do and could not afford the frequent loss of dishes, clothes, curtains and wallpaper. So grandfather found the Tonga driver and sold Toto back to him for only 3 rupees at our home. Finally, he sold Toto to the same Tonga driver for a sum of 3 rupees. Just see. Now he has gone outside. I don't know whether he will be bringing another animal or not. Waiting for him to come.
The story narrates the adventures that followed after the narrator's grandfather, who was an animal lover, bought Toto, a monkey. The story begins with grandfather buying Toto from a Tonga driver for 5 rupees. Toto was pretty and looked so out of place that grandfather decided to add him to his private zoo. He was, however, afraid of grandmother, who did not like him bringing home as many pets as he liked. So the narrator and grandfather brought Toto home and decided to keep him a secret from grandmother. Toto was extremely mischievous. The narrator at one point in the story writes that if there is a part of the brain especially devoted to mischief, that part was largely developed in Toto. Toto, on his first day, ripped open the peg to which he was tied, shredded the narrator's blazer, and tore up the wallpaper that grandfather had chosen for the walls. Toto was then transferred to the servants' quarters, where he lived with the other pets. Usually, most of grandfather's pets got along well with each other. However, Toto kept all of them awake at night. To prevent further such issues, grandfather decided to take Toto with him to Dehradun. However, the journey was not the one grandfather was expecting. He and Toto made it through most of the trip without any incident, but at the railway turnstile, Toto suddenly poked his head out of the bag and scared the ticket collector. The ticket collector thought Toto was a dog and charged poor grandfather 3 rupees extra. Grandmother finally accepted Toto and gave him a comfortable home at the stable. His companion was their donkey, Nana. However, when grandfather came to the stable to make sure that Toto was comfortable, he saw poor Nana struggling because Toto had jumped on her head and bitten her ears. Toto loved the warm baths that grandmother prepared for him. It was a treat for him. He would expertly check the temperature of the water and then enter the bath 1 foot at a time. Then he would soak and soap himself. Once he almost boiled himself because he did not realize that the kettle was still on the fire. He was saved by grandmother, who pulled him out of the kettle just in time. One day, grandmother had made pulao. When everyone entered the dining room, they saw Toto sitting on the table, stuffing himself with rice. He threw a plate at grandmother, who had screamed at him. He also threw a glass of water at one of the narrator's aunts. Then Toto jumped out the window with the dish of pulao. He climbed all the way up the jackfruit tree and ate all the rice while everyone watched. Finally, to take revenge on grandmother who had screamed at him, he threw the dish down the tree and laughed when it broke into pieces. This incident made everyone, especially grandfather, realize that they could not keep Toto for long. He was becoming very expensive for them to keep because he kept destroying things. They could not keep replacing them all the time. So grandfather took Toto back to the Tonga driver, but he could only sell him back for 3 rupees.